Hello and welcome to another episode of Soul Nectar show that talks about all things essence. And we sit around the campfire together and we share stories and we delight each other with our personal stories of touching the divine and the sacred within us and the mystical, amazing, magical things that happen on this path when you start opening the door to that. It's so much fun. I'm your host, Carrie Hummingbird, and I'm super delighted to be in service to the divine in this way. I really enjoy my job. I love opening the door to the sacred journey for people and helping them to navigate those first few steps until they figure out like what works for them and what doesn't work for them. And they get a sense of like, hey, this is actually pretty fun to take this journey. So I love being that helping hand to get through the door, across the threshold. And I have a friend here with me today, Corin Grillo, who also loves to serve in this capacity. And she's amazing. Welcome, Corin.
Welcome. It's such a pleasure being here, Carrie.
We're friends actually, and we do work together, and we've known each other for a while, and we've seen some of our sticky icky, and we love each other despite it. And so what does she do? She's a licensed psychotherapist. What? She's an author, speaker, healer, teacher, and founder of the Angel Alchemy Academy. That's right. She heals and teaches by bridging humans with direct mystical experiences, excessive amounts of laughter, down-to-earth spiritual wisdom, and powerful energy medicine that awakens the heart, mind, and soul. And you'll have some links in the show notes that will help you access her, and we'll find out about her free gift at the end. But in the meantime, did you just walk on the planet as someone who speaks to angels, Corinne?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, I mean, they were swooping down at me. I had to bob and weave. They were everywhere.
You just like walked on the planet and had a blessed existence. It's been on your back, and
it's been fucking amazing. You know what I'm saying? What can I say? Yeah.
So peeling back the curtain.
Okay. Yeah. So really, it was a very challenging existence growing up. I had a very intense father. He did a few tours in Vietnam and brought the war back with him. So if you can imagine all of the things that could ensue there in that lifetime, it's very challenging. And we also, had lots of struggles, poverty, and my mother died at a very young age. And for most of my life, I struggled deeply with depression and wanting to die and all of that stuff. So no, it did not start off this awesome. I did not have to bob and weave angels at the beginning. I had to bob and weave my father.
Wow. Yeah. And that's a bit of truth. And I love that you transparently share that, because a lot of people get this idea, like they see, oh, Corin Grillo talks with angels all the time and has this like blessed existence. And they can start to feel this sense of separation. Like, you don't get me. Like, you don't understand like the real world. So,
Right.
but you do actually, like you actually have, and I know because I know you, like you and I both, we take the journey through like some pretty dark, twisted waters, right?
Right. Yeah, the dark waters. I feel like we're essential. We're the alchemizing agent in a way, and it was either die or find something, a deeper meaning somehow. And so, yeah, with the wish to with that urge to want to die and disappear and escape, came a lot of the basic self-destructive behaviors like alcohol abuse, drug abuse, crystal meth, and eventually leading me into a little brief stint in jail, which was one of the bigger wake-up calls for me at the time. So yeah, none of this stuff that I'm doing now came naturally. I had to fight through it, as so many people out there are fighting through it, feeling the quote unquote opposite of spiritual, but essentially the opposite of spiritual is where the gold is, if you play your cards right and start doing the deep listening.
Yeah. And so I imagine that that's what led you to pursue psychotherapy.
Yeah, I mean, all of it, the whole thing, from
Like
birth
trying to
on.
understand this thing.
What the fuck? Like, yeah, what just happened? So, yeah, I've always loved talking to people, and I've always loved supporting people and helping people. Even, when I was in extreme pain, it's always just kind of this natural thing. And I remember in my early 20s, sitting with one of my friends going, God, I wish you could just get paid to talk to people. Because at the time, I didn't even have the imagination of a therapist or doing what I do now. It's like, oh, I got to get a job, be a serious human, get a corporate job. So I didn't have the imagination for it. So it's so funny, even back then I knew that what I wanted to do, I just didn't have the vision for it. Again, the family that I came from was, military and not highly educated. And so I didn't have the same vision for life that maybe some people with educated parents did.
Wow. So, but you found your way to it through, I'm sure, some synchronistic connections.
Yeah, I did. Well, I started, what's weird is I started doing sales. I got into sales for some series of extraordinary weird events like telephone sales, like telemarketing, pure torture and hell. But eventually after doing that for a while, I started having, nightly nightmares. And it was like, feel like I was being attacked by demons or something. It was so weird. And it wouldn't stop until I did some deeper listening about the kind of work, because at that stage, I think I'd been doing sales for about 6 or 7 years, and I was actually good at it because I like to talk to people, right? So I was successful, not because I loved sales, but because I'm just chatting with people. Maybe I'll talk about the product eventually, but like, tell me what's going on at home, So, so I'm really good at it. But, at a soul level, there was something else that was trying to break through. So nightly terrors. And eventually I kind of got it that I should dream a different dream and go to graduate school and become a psychotherapist. So the second I made that decision is when the nightmare stopped. So to me, that's kind of a sign. And what I teach now to the people that I work with is, if you're really struggling right now in life and you're anxious, but you got this great job that is paying your bills, you might have to, go be a pauper for a while, or go get a hot dog cart instead, or do something really weird that's more soul aligned and opens your heart more. And
Yeah, that
so,
weird thing that you're called to do that you think is like so weird. And if you did that, everyone would disown you.
exactly.
That's the thing that you probably need to do.
Right. Or you're so convinced that you don't have the cash or you don't have the time to actually pull it off. Like, so for me at the time, my poverty mindset was so extreme. And the notion of investing in myself was this crazy little thing. Money used to give me huge anxiety. Even my paychecks would stack up on my nightstand because I was so petrified of going to the bank to deposit. Like
So you just hold on to your paychecks
I would hold on to my
and you
paycheck.
wouldn't deposit them?
No,
That's crazy.
I know, I no kidding. I know. I look back and go like, WTF, right? Like, what are you
You're
doing?
like hoarding paychecks.
I was a paycheck hoarder, and I couldn't also pay my bills. So I had plenty of money, but I had too much anxiety to write a check and too much anxiety to deposit. I was so fucked in that way. It's hard to actually believe that I've moved through so much of that, right? So that's what I was working with back then. So yeah. So
But it's kind of interesting, like you finally got over that enough to invest in yourself to go to graduate school. And then you got your degree as a psychotherapist. And then that wasn't the last stop for you, though.
no, and I think that's what I'm learning. It's never the last stop, at least for how my soul likes to move in the world. And so, but what was wonderful is I was essentially as a psychotherapist doing exactly what I did as a salesperson. I'm just talking about their family, giving them, supporting them. And except for I get to officially be like, hey, I'm tending your soul, man. I'm just like, we're just going to, help you feel better. Because that's all I wanted to do as a salesperson. So it was great. So like, okay, boom, I got a little closer to who I am at an essence level. And so that was wonderful, but eventually that also began to feel limiting. And really what happened was like enter the angels. One of the exact reason why I talk so much about angels these days, although I love all spiritual things and topics, is because I witnessed a miracle at some point in my career. Now, even though I was a psychotherapist and doing work that was soul aligned, I found myself pushed against this wall of misery again. Like I was still struggling to be a happy person, even though things on the outside were so much better. So it was during a period where it's like I had kind of expanded my capacity. I was feeling the pressure of being a mother with a young child, and also working in this intense environment as a psychotherapist, essentially rescuing kids off the street and helping support families, impoverished families, help get them through the system, move through the system, gang banging, all that stuff, right? So I was doing that full time. And, as you can imagine, though it's a rewarding job, it's really hard to feel successful in that framework, because you're up against, all these social cultural constructs. So the stress of the job, plus the fact that I felt also that I was failing at home because my job was like very consuming at the time. It was too much. So I was, drinking a bunch and taking prescription drugs and antidepressants and doing whatever I could. Yeah, whatever I could to stay
numb,
afloat.
kind of keep going.
Oh, fuck yes.
And numb the pain from all the stuff that you had to witness all day long.
Yeah, all day long and all lifetime long. Right. So it's all coming to a head at this point as an adult, even though on the outside I look like I had my shit together. Right. It's like, okay, I got a career, bam, master's degree, bitch. It's like, it looks amazing from the outside, but the inside I was suffering. Right.
Yeah.
I had a husband, family, house. Looks like, I know what's going on. On the inside, I was breaking down big time. And so then, I encountered some angel activity. Someone had given me a gift certificate for an angel healing, and I didn't know what that was at the time. And it was my birthday. She didn't know I was suffering as much as I was suffering, because I was good at playing the game back then, just covering it up. Everything's fine.
Put a little makeup on that. It'd be all right.
I know, just a little makeup, Band-Aid,
put a smile on it.
Smack yourself into shape, smile, bam. Let's pretend. So she didn't know what I was going through, but I'm telling you, this angel healing session was just badass, and it was a healing session as well. So she cleared up my energy, and I was like, what? I felt like a totally different person at the end. And she said, hey, just talk to your angels like they're real. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. All right, simple enough. So that's what I did.
They didn't teach me that in psychotherapy school.
Exactly. Okay, talk to your angels. I'll give it a shot, because I felt so much better. It's like, well, if this worked for an hour, what if they're real? What if angels are absolutely real? And so I started talking to them and praying to them, and all of these incredible synchronicities started happening right away. The synchronicities when you're in the zone.
Oh yeah.
All these number signs, and all these messages, and so it was like, whoa, it's 3 days full of that kind of magic. And then I was driving down the street in the hood on my way to one of my clients' house, and a bird dropped from the sky, landed in front of my car. So I stopped it, put on the brakes, and I was like, now what the hell? That's significantly different.
Odd.
I know, it's a different energy than what I've just been experiencing, the bliss of these last 3 days, because my energy level was rising. I felt like I was like driving in a spaceship when I'm driving on the street. I felt so light and airy and hopeful for once. And so yeah, this bird falls from the sky, and I'm like, now that is a little intense, right? So I look at the bird, and it's got this mangled wing, and it's pushing itself up trying to kind of shimmy around and push itself up from the ground, kind of trying to get back up, but it couldn't. And so I was like, my heart was destroyed, especially because I was so open, right? I was feeling the love, and my heart was all expanded, and then I see this little birdie, but again, I'm in the hood. And as a single woman out in the hood, you don't get out of the damn car to do, you can get a cap in your ass, right? So I instead was like, instead of rescuing this bird, I'm going to pray for this bird, right? So I prayed for the bird. I said, please, please, angels, please, creator, whoever's watching, take this bird out of its suffering. I'm sorry, little birdie. I can't save you right now. I can't help you. So I drove around the bird and I looked in the rearview mirror. It kept on watching it. And the bird body started bouncing a little bit on the ground, started kind of shimmying, doing a weird shimmy. And I watched a small bird hop up from that bird and fly away. And another bird hopped up from that body and flew away. And then a third bird hopped up from that body and flew away. And my hair was like, and so I was like, oh my God. So I stopped the car. I didn't care. I got out of the car because I don't care if I get shot today. I need to go see what just happened. And there was nothing left on the ground, Carrie.
Oh my God.
Nothing left on the ground. And again, my hair and the chills, like my whole body was like vibrating. And I broke out in tears. It's still very challenging for me to describe
I want to cry.
the feeling of that, the feeling of the grace and the power of God essentially coursing through me in the fucking hood, in the ghetto. In the ghetto of Los Angeles.
God goes in the hood too.
Yeah. Okay. This is not a secret. I was not on a sabbatical or
You were on the mountaintop. You were in Belize on the beach.
No, I was not on a retreat, right? And I was probably eating like shit. I wasn't cleansed, So yeah, so it was a very impactful moment. And again, because I'm a psychotherapist, I know what sharing an experience like this could sound like to other people, right?
Right.
Like
people that are third-dimensionally challenged.
That's magical thinking. And we're going to get you on some Seroquel. How about an antipsychotic for you, woman? And so I was just like, dude, that was intense. And again, I didn't know what to do with it except for like, okay, this shit is real. And if you could see, there's a sign behind me that says this shit is real with angel wings. This shit is real. So I became an insta believer in seeing the actual physical manifestation of something so crazy that's really what set me on my journey towards angels flying at me and now actually bobbing and weaving angels, more often than when I was younger.
Oh my God, that's so powerful, Corin. Wow.
It was, that was a crazy ass miracle. That was the first miracle that I've witnessed. And I've witnessed so many more since then in my own life, and then also in the lives of the people that I'm so blessed to touch these days, from people all over the world now. So, but the craziest miracle was how it changed me, how permanently, how my deep suffering dissolved and how it opened up my intuition and my healing gifts. And, slowly but surely led me out of this sneaky little prison that I've been in. And so it's been now about 8 years since that one day.
Wow. I was talking with you before we got on the call about miracles and awe, like being in awe of the divine. And I've had also some moments where, like, I don't know if you remember this, but we were on retreat together. And we had to go on a solo retreat by ourselves, right? And I was on my little solo retreat by myself, and you were on yours someplace else by yourself. And I went and sang a little healing Icaro in the woods, and I was like just practicing singing this little healing song and calling in support and calling in allies. And at the end of the healing song, I got this little inner giggle. And that to me now is my sign that I'm in my higher self or connection with the divine or something, is the inner giggle. I got this little inner giggle, and all of a sudden I just called in hummingbird just out of nowhere. And a freaking hummingbird flew in front of my third eye and hovered there for like a minute.
Yeah.
Out of the woods. I was like, you came when I called. Holy crap. And for me, that was like, it was a powerful message, because I'd always had this doubt, like, well, I'm asking for the winds of the south to be here, but is the wind of the south really here? Or I'm asking for the divine to listen to my prayer, or is God really listening? And that hummingbird was saying to me, and it stayed there until I looked at it and said, okay, I see that you came when I called. I witnessed
Yeah.
that, and I know that you're coming when I call every single time, even if there's not a hummingbird right in front of me.
Oh my gosh, isn't that just gorgeous? So beautiful.
And I've known it ever since, and so I just know it now. And I'm still open to more, right? Like I always want to expand my awe by experiencing more miracles. Like I want to expand the awe of it to just so that I can feel that feeling. Like that feeling of knowing is so powerful. Is that greedy to want
Y-
more?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But in the best way possible. And, I believe in that kind of greed. Let's just say that. Absolutely. I've gotten so greedy. I've gotten greedier now than I was 8 years ago, as a matter of fact.
Like I think that's kind of the special thing is when you can realize, I don't know, like how magical the creator, God, source, great spirit, whatever you want, Yahweh, I mean, whatever name, how magical it is. Like it's so magical.
It's incredible. I mean, it's incredible and it's everywhere. And it's so unfortunate that, you know, our kids aren't as a culture so dialed into the actual magic, the actual miracles, and that we're kind of stamped down a little bit by separating ourselves. Even in how we work our churches, they can be so separate from the full life experience of spirit and how alive it is. It's just alive in the world. And so, oh yeah, I love that you're vibing on that and you're asking for more. It's just, yeah, I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and we know about it, at least for me, when I experience a miracle. So like I had a miracle the other day where I just asked for something. I said, well, I wonder what it would be like to have this miracle happen for me today. And how would I feel at the manifestation of that miracle by the end of the day? Like, how would that be for my small personality or my ego self to experience like, okay, yeah, and it happened. And I got to tell you, it happened. And I was blown away. I was like, you're kidding, right? Like it happened in a way I didn't expect. Bam, there it was. And all of a sudden I had a dawning realization. This is the miracle I asked for.
Yeah.
Right here. It's
Yeah.
happening right now. This person connecting with me, and this is the miracle I asked for, and it's happening. And sure enough, bam, it closed the deal and it happened. And I was like, wow.
So awesome.
Same day. So
So
talk about,
powerful.
I mean, I feel like uh, this kind of brings us around to a conversation around when you start to awaken and you have alignment and as you're saying, it's always evolving, but when you start to get the alignment of like, oh, this is what my gifts are that I'm here to share. Oh, this is how I'm meant to show up. Like, like in our work together, like figuring out what role we play. Like I'm a sage. I'm pretty sure you are too. So like figuring out like those kinds of things, like that you're here to share and inspire and open the door to magic and all that kind of stuff. When you get aligned to it and you go, wow, this is a really cool job. And then you go, wow, I'm so lucky. And you look around at other people who are maybe not living quite as connected to the magic, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't ask for more because I've already got so much bounty. Like, is it fair for me to have more bounty?
Right.
Talk about that
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah. I mean, it's always, I told you about I couldn't even cash my checks. I couldn't even do the good stuff when it came to money. um, so it's been really challenging when you feel that you're finally receiving and like your life and your world is finally reflecting back to you what you've been asking for. You're finally receiving it. Like like that $800 coming to you. You're like, oh, I could just ask for stuff and it comes back to me.
Bam!
And, right. And so when that starts happening more and more, it's this inner boogie starts happening. You're like stoked. But then for me, in my condition, I noticed the guilt started rising along with my success. And so when my financial ceilings started shattering, right? And I was like, whoa, I didn't no. And I'm just like, thank you. So thank you, spirit. Thank you, all of this. There's this equal amount of like shame and guilt that I experience as a spiritual teacher, because we know all the spiritual folk, they like to be so humble, and you know, and it's like almost, you know, I know a lot of spiritual people, a lot of spiritual teachers, they have to go through this impoverished mindset that in order to be truly spiritual, you have to relinquish your material possessions that should not be important to you, you know, because you're so spiritual.
Well, okay, but there's a little pathway to navigate here, because
yeah.
because this is something that's been coming to me, is that I feel within me the miracles that I experience as I share them with people inspires them to see what I'm seeing, which is that I'm rejoicing in the glory of the divine creator. I'm rejoicing in the power of this consciousness that can take you on a journey to align you with your true self and then deliver you exactly to your heart's desires, like that you didn't even know you wanted. Like, I didn't know I wanted to be a soul guide. I didn't know what that was. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm an artist. I'm a tech writer. I'm a whatever. And here I am, like, this is so right. When I surrendered to it, like, that's glorious. That's miraculous. And so we should
Yes.
be shouting that from the rooftops.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of being ashamed of it, like, we should be like,
Exactly.
wow, check this out. Like, look what just happened.
Exactly. Because that is my instinct. I just want to be like, hey, but then you realize, okay, this is over time. You realize some people are not going to receive it with the same intention, because on the outside, it could look like, oh my God, she's bragging because she mentioned a number, right? Like that. And especially, okay, so I'll tell you, like, the first big kind of windfall of money that I came into from this product that I launched, or this online, this course that I launched here locally, it was like so earth shattering. And I was like feeling the sacred divine. I was like, oh my God, thank you for supporting me, because that means now I can reduce my 1-to-1 hours and start focusing on teaching and work. Thank you, sweet Lord, you know? So I'm like having this revival inside of myself. And I was like, you guess what just happened? So, and this is the number. In 72 hours, I made $45,000, right? Right? And so I'm like excited.
That's like a whole year's income, like,
Exactly.
for a couple of years of my work, you know?
Exactly. And it was like that for me. I was like, whoa, what just happened to me? And so you just want to scream it from the rooftops, like the potential, the possibilities. Because again, I wasn't excited from this place of, I rule. I was just like, dude, magic is real and all of us can do this shit. So let's all hop on this party train, because it's, you know, this shit is real. We can do it. You know, it's totally possible. Because again, let's remind you, this is the girl that couldn't cash a check.
Yeah,
So,
it was like overcoming that fear and scarcity and lack that you had within yourself. That was a domestication of your mind from a little child. And like little children, okay, so almost like I feel like through this work that we've been doing on ourselves, like that you've done it yourself and I've done it myself, and we shared some of the journey, is that it's like you restore it's like you take the smeg off your inner child. It's like you take the mud and you wash them off and you go, oh, sweetie, you were just covered with tons of mud. You can now be joyful in yourself. Like, it's like you poor little child, like you just got covered up with a bunch of stuff. And then you just take it off and the little child's like, oh my gosh, I'm free. Now I can play.
yeah,
That's what it feels like. It feels like Creator is like this child.
that's what it is. It is, because I did it. Like, my work became so playful, and it's like a lightening of your load in major ways. And yeah, it's just about, you just have to scrub things down. That's exactly what happened. That's what happened in that 1-hour healing session that I did with that person. Like, she scrubbed me down real quick. I came back to my essence for a quick second. And it turns out essence, you know, who you are is deeply connected to spirit. Everybody's a natural. It's all happen. You know, we can all get there. And it's also one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about energy healing and healing work. It's like, it works. It just works.
It's a spiritual loofah.
Yeah, you got to scrub down, exfoliate.
Because
So,
we
yeah.
get lost in the group consciousness creation,
Yeah.
which is such a drag. You know,
It really is.
it's
And
such a drag.
it really is. And I'll just say, you know, with some of the some of the work that I've been doing, and, you know, kind of navigating the territory of, of wanting to make more impact in the world, wanting to reach more people, and at the same time have my wealth quotient be expanded as well. You know, I've had to navigate these two, what some would think is opposing forces. You know, it's like, what, you want to expand your financial wealth, and through that process, you know, really realizing your wealth quotient, as that rises, it's really about service. And I feel like the more that we can all get connected to the fact that the more that you serve, the more that your wealth quotient can expand with you, so that you can serve more. You can hire people and help serve their families. You know, it's like helping their families. You can make donations, and you can create bigger parties for people to participate in, and healing parties. So it's like, oh, okay, because I know for spiritual people, it's tricky to really fulfill this dream that they have of doing this heart-centered work, and also be able to earn a healthy, more than enough. And so a couple of
Well,
years
an
ago,
abundant, like a magical, you're in awe that I mean, because to be a spiritual teacher, it takes a lot of inner focus. You got to really keep cleaning. You got a spiritual loofah like every day. You know?
yeah,
To
I
stay
mean,
clean and clear and know what you're doing, right?
I know. But yeah, I think it's like claiming your right to also receive financial abundance, as well as love abundance and more
Love
time.
abundance, more time abundance, you
Yeah,
know, changing the matrix so that you know, the story isn't I have to slave away and be a
exactly.
martyr in order to make like 2 pennies.
Exactly.
I know.
And they all go hand in hand. So it's one thing well, you know, it's no secret how to make more money. We can all do it if we choose certain careers that are all kind of cash focused and da da da. But the kind of wealth that is possible for us, that are aligned, doing the work that we want to do, working with spirit, making ourselves take those terrorizing risks towards our dreams. Um, you know, the kind of wealth that's possible might not give you a heart attack. Like you can actually make money and work less and have more time for love. And so that's been like one of the awakening moments for me, or awarenesses for me, is just that the more deeply you engage with spirit and channel your next steps, and step by step do them no matter what, the more magic and miracles happen, all kinds of them.
Yeah, and I think that as teachers, if we could find a way to convey that this isn't like I just found a secret sauce and you can't have it. You know, this is like everybody's got their own pathway to their own secret sauce, and everybody can have it. And you're just interfacing directly with spirit, God, source, creator, to have that conversation of your soul. Like that's what unlocks it. And
Mhm.
like having a guide like Corinne or like me is helpful, just because we've kind of gone through a lot of the layers of group consciousness and worked through. And when I say layers of group consciousness, I mean like the construct that we put on top of the whole thing that isn't true, like collectively. Like
Yes,
we've
exactly.
created some pretty depressing stuff here on earth, you know, and that stuff is not actually true. It's a fabrication. So it can be dismantled, but dismantling it is also pretty tricky work. And so that's, you know, that's something that we can help with. But everybody has
Yeah.
this within them, right? And I think that's the point you were talking about, people getting jealous. Because I'll confess, definitely when we first met, I was jealous. I was like, that Corinne, she's got this awesome group. She's totally connected. She got her connected to the divine. She's got her like her platform in which she teaches, and she found her place. And what was I really jealous about? I was really like yearning for my own. Like I knew it was in me, and I knew I needed to find it, and I wanted it for myself. That's really what it was. And it's there for you. Just kind of keep walking the path.
Oh, right, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of the trick of like, you have all this good stuff happening. At a certain point, it starts feeling like inappropriate to share how amazing your life is.
I know, because you're like, it's so great.
It's
And all
so
your old
good.
friends are like,
I know, because you have, you know, friends that are like struggling in love, struggling with cash. And what if like, you know, I had a friend ask me one day, she's like, how are you feeling today? And I was like, well, today I'm feeling a little oversexed and overpaid, you know, like, is that okay? You know, and it's like, oh, but you know, you can't say that to just anybody, right? Because they're gonna be like, oh, you know, all but hurt, you know, my sex life. But it's like, it's because I'm so excited because it wasn't always like that.
Yeah, you're
And
just enjoying the bountiful reward of walking the path, like continuing to
right,
walk the path, because there's a lot of bumps on this path. Just saying.
right. Yeah, so I made a commitment, you know, as a woman in my 40s. This is a separate commitment than just my spiritual goals. But, you know, after that day, I was like, I'm going to keep that going. Woman in my 40s, yeah, we're going to stay, we're going to have even more sex and get even more paid. We're going to be oversexed, overpaid all the way, right? And so because, you know, I know a lot of people that make different choices when they become 40. They get more responsible. They get more serious.
Ooh,
Ah, and they
ooh.
start taking less risks, right? And so, you know, that's just I can't do it. I want to stay with live with vitality.
Yeah, live with vitality. And we, you know, if I think this really comes down to you, how much can you allow your inner child imagination that has like the crazy ideas, that one, to lead the way? And can you surrender in humility to this inner child that's like, I have an awesome idea and I'm super excited about it?
Yeah,
Can you do that?
right.
Can you play a game? Can you
Yeah.
think of this as a game? And I think that's where, like, circling back around to this idea of like separation, like, oh, well, if I'm a spiritual teacher, then I need to be very serious and spiritual. And that is a lie. Like, actually, if you're like, look at Buddha, like, all the statues of him are him laughing.
Ah, yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
He's not, you know, and I mean, any like really ascended person, you notice, they don't take things seriously. They take the work seriously. You know, they take God seriously and their commitment seriously, but they don't like give themselves. They know they're not responsible for it and for everybody because they can't be. It's impossible.
Right. Yeah. I love that. I love what you're saying about, you know, like the laughing Buddha and it's just so essential. And I like what you're saying about playing life like it's a game, because when you know it's a game, there's no life or death in a certain way. These little shifts that you want to make in your life to align yourself with more wealth or more love or just a deeper sense of purpose, as terrorizing as they are, you're more able to make those shifts if you really realize, okay, that's not going to actually kill me. Yeah, I may be poor as fuck for a little bit, but it's not going to kill me. I mean, we'll adjust. You can always get a job again later down the line, whatever, you know. So if you just kind of play with those things, but you know, it can be such a challenge, right? Because you know,
Well, but I think that the way to make it less challenge is to let your inner child lead. You know, the inner essential self, and I consider it a child because it's like got so much imagination and connection with the divine. Like, it's so that pure.
oh,
When I say that, I mean like the pure,
oh,
joyful, open rainbow heart.
right,
That one.
so
That
beautiful.
Yeah, that's the one that needs to lead. And then also you can check things with your angels, right? Like your guides, or you could build a relationship. Like, that's what I learned through my path so far with all my training, is how to build a relationship with the winds of the south and the winds of the west and the north and the east and the earth and the rocks and the trees and the ocean and all of it.
Hmm.
Like, and the angels, build a relationship. It's you talking with them from your heart, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like I was mentioned earlier, the world is alive. You know, it's all alive. And the more that we engage these powerful, benevolent forces to come into our life, we could ask for advice or, you know, and I know I do a lot of focus on angel work in my outer life, but I believe in every ally that will take me. And, and I will build a relationship with you. If I see you, we will be talking, you know, hello sky, hello tree, hello, you know, I got a lot of friends. None of them are human.
Yeah, some of them are human.
Well, I got one right here. No, just kidding. Yeah, some of them are human, but I see a lot of things, we see you and we see a lot of things as allies and a support system that a lot of people can't see yet. And that for me is part of my mission, is helping people see that the world is alive and there for us, and that wherever you look, there's good medicine. There's just good medicine for us in the
And you
people.
open the door by being willing, right? Just by being willing and
Yes.
asking
Yeah.
for help.
Yeah. And I feel like there's no way that my capacity to hold more love, to hold more wealth, to hold more time and spaciousness for myself, none of that. I couldn't expand my capacity with just my personal energy. I had to expand my capacity by aligning myself with something bigger than me. And in the beginning, it was the angels, and of course, I definitely tap into all kinds of other mystical fields. But, anytime you align yourself or call on something bigger, I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter who you're talking to. Just talk to something that is beyond you and ask it for help.
Ask it for help. That's right. That's right. Well, I love this. So how do you work with clients? How do you work with, I don't know what you call them, the people that want to learn from you, like with helping them talk to the angels? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, well, these days I start off, I do a lot of online programs, and they're mostly focused on teaching powerful invocation and ritual to people, to really essentially get angelic attention, in particular the archangels. And so I take a highly mystical approach towards working with angels, highly mystical, ritual, ceremonial approach to working with angels. So it starts, maybe I have a 7-day program that really helps people set up a sacred space in an ideal way. And we walk you through some healing exercises and also just invocation. So for me, invocation, 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 because my goal is not to just fill someone's mind with my thoughts and my experiences. I want people to get activated and to actually have literal experiential, literal experiences with the divine, because that's how I got clued in. And I'm no sucker. I'm not going to just read something and believe it. I need proof. So all of my programs are really based in designing my clients' experiences to open them up to actually be able to see, feel, and experience the presence of angels. And that sets them on this journey of like, holy shit, this shit is real.
This shit
Okay,
is real.
now what? And so, we start, in the basics, just teaching them some of the angelic basics. There's a lot of channeled material that I've done in the beginning. So step by step, you call them in, but talking to them daily is essential. And then we go deeper into the mystery, right? Which is opening up your spiritual gifts and divine gifts and healing gifts and your soul level gifts, so that you could actually be of service to the divine and to the world. So it's a kind of, we kind of have deeper and deeper experiences. So mostly online programs and groups, but this year I'll be starting to do more retreats. I do retreats, workshops, those kinds of things, but do more of them.
Yeah, that sounds great. You know what I would love?
What?
A Carrie and Corinne retreat.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on the way. I love
Yeah.
that idea.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, Carrie, I know that you love fire. I love fire. That's what the next thing I want to start teaching about, because it's changed my life. Just working with Holy Spirit, fire energy is just like, bam, I'm done. Love it.
Yeah, it's powerful. Like, yeah, I got some things to teach around that. And
Yeah, we're doing our fire
okay,
ceremony weekend workshop.
and I'm all about like ritual. I love that you said that. And that's the same message I got from my guides, is like, because I was doing a lot of healings, as you know, like I did a lot of individual healings with people, and they come and lie on my table, and I'd like clear all their chakras out and everything. And then they go home feeling much better. And then 6 months later, they'd be back for the same thing, or something like, and I'd be like, what are you doing in the meantime? Like, what are you?
Exactly.
So the guides were like, it's fine, you can do it sometimes, but really focus on teaching people how to access their own spiritual framework.
Exactly.
Like, give them a pathway so they can create their own spiritual foundation for themselves, because they're going to need it. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, I had the same message a few years back. Yeah, where I was doing grinding, doing a lot of one-on-one, and miracles were happening in our sessions. I mean, it was a really
Yeah,
good
it's cool. I like
part
it.
of my career, right? Part of our career. But then you realize, and I had someone tell me, a healer tell me, that they received a message that it was my turn to stop building other people's wagons for them and to teach them how to build their own wagon.
Yes.
And so I could really feel the energy of that, because again, the sign that I had outgrown that capacity was that, I was feeling more depleted, more tired, a little more resistant to work, even though it was good, beautiful, amazing work. It was just time for me to shift things. That's always scary, to kind of change your business model and change how you're creating an impact in the world. So yeah, it's definitely so in alignment. Another way that I teach is by teaching people how to become healers, to do the work that I used to do. And I teach a lot of other people how to now do what I used to do. And so I love sharing that kind of magic with people so that they can go and create their own impact. And now it's like we have this international following, and I have international healers that are creating impact in their communities, and their little people that they're shifting lives then come to me to get trained. It's like I feel like a grandmother. It's like their babies are
I love
their
that.
babies and their babies, and they come to get trained and they create more babies. It's like this incredible movement of love and miracles and magic that's happening right now. It's freaking crazy is what I'm saying.
I
So
think that's so much fun. Wow, I love that. That's so inspiring, Corinne.
oh God, it's so great. That's what I'm saying, Carrie. Don't you be jealous. Just get
Oh
out
my
there and
God, I'm
do
inspired.
it.
I'm
Just do
inspired. I'm inspired. I'm looking at I'm like, my brain just went like,
it.
possibilities, like it just,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh God,
anything is possible. And I know it's coming. Yeah, I'm so excited.
it's
But,
coming.
oh
We
my
gotta talk.
gosh. Did you guys notice that? I just want you guys to notice. Did you just notice what just happened? Corinne was sharing her magical moment and like all this beautiful things of happening. And in the old model, you could have easily gone into some jealousy, right? Like women, especially with each other, could go into some jealousy. But what happened there? I was
Yeah.
inspired by her. And that's what I really want to, well, I want to welcome everybody out there to really adopt that. Like the next time you notice yourself in desire over someone else's experience, you just open to like, I'm so inspired by you and what you're doing. And I open to it happening for me in the perfect way for me.
Yes. Oh God, that's such a great point. And this is what I decided. I have to share the truth of what's going on, because you can focus on the handful of people that are going to take it the wrong way. They might like, oh, she's just bragging. But, that's such a small percentage compared
It's
to the
so
people
small.
that are inspired and that are here to become activated by stories like that. Because, I was not born this way, as we discussed in the beginning.
Yeah,
So
you've earned your chops and you continue to do the work. And you're aligned. You're aligned. Here's the thing. When I've realized that whenever I set an intention for something like this, and I say, Great Spirit, I would love to be of service to group circles. That was my intention for 2019. I would love to take Reinvent Yourself into group circles, and I would love to train a bunch of people about this stuff that you downloaded and channeled through me and put in my course. Like I want to train, I just want them to, I want to open the magical door and go, hey, check this out. And I want to like set them free, like let's have a community. And you know what happened?
well,
I had a series of events in my life that cleared up the remaining things that I needed to learn to become the kind of person that could hold a container like that for that many other people.
oh God, such a good point. Yes.
So
Yes.
it's always yes. I want you guys to hear that. The answer is always yes, always. And yes, and you got to become the kind of person inside that can hold the container like the thing you're asking for, which means you probably are going to have some bumpy things that you're going to go through, that you're going to bump up against because you have resistance about this, that, or the other thing. That's actually a structure that needs to be removed so that you can become the essential self that you are, that does the work that you're saying you want to do. So it's a yes. It's always a yes.
It's a
And
yes, even when it feels like a fuck no.
it's a yes, and I also realize this, it's a yes, and Carrie, sweetie, I love you so much. I don't want you to burn yourself out by biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
So my great spirit's always protecting me from myself, because my desire to be of service is so great that
Yeah.
I often will take on more than I could handle. Actually, at that moment,
Exactly.
I will try to take on more than I can handle. So great spirits always really, whenever I see that happen, where stuff's not quite happening the way I thought it was or I asked for, I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure you're giving me limits, so I'll protect myself.
Right. Oh my God, that's such a beautiful insight. I remember the first time that I realized that, had more that realization, because when things were failing or when I was failing, I would feel like, oh, I would feel almost like I was being punished, right? Come from an abusive history. That's going to be your
Right.
default, like, oh God, I'm a bad girl. I'm being punished.
That was mine too. Oh my God.
Oh, it's classic, a classic, an oldie but a goodie for so many of us.
No more.
No mas, right? So, but yeah, I was just starting to incorporate my energy healing angel work into my psychotherapy practice, which was an interesting time. But things were popping and starting to really pick up. And I got this offer to come and teach about angels in a workshop in a local place, a local center. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, angels, my first gig. But at the same time, I was burning myself. At the time, I was experiencing a lot of burnout. And I was in the framework of, I'm here to serve. I'm just going to serve, 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 and really not listen, not taking care of myself, essentially. And so I said yes to this thing. It's going to be awesome. And she's like, yeah, we have like, 10, 15 people, they're going to come. And like, your people come. And I'm like, yeah, people are coming. So I show up, not one person showed up that night. We had people come, not one. And
Not one, people.
I was
And you
so,
see how fabulous she is, right? Like, you see how fabulous she is.
not one. And again, I already had people that knew. I mean, it's just like, it's not like I was super new to the thing. I just felt like all this huge, so much shame and so much
Rejection, abandonment,
embarrassment. I'm so embarrassed. And
self-judgment.
yeah, because like, oh, now people are gonna ask, how did the event go? And I'd be like, what am I supposed to say? Oh, it's so horrible, right?
Sucks.
Oh, and so of course, because spiritual people tend to overanalyze, spiritual people think,
Overanalyze
what did I do to
everything.
create this? And I created this, and what did I do? And so I took so much blame in such a punitive way about it. And so luckily I had to go to Trader Joe's. So I went to Trader Joe's instead, feeling all, befouled and limp
Be
and
foul.
limp, nobody loves me. And went to the store and did all this shopping for my family, because again, got a couple kids doing my thing, and I had like maybe a couple $100 worth of groceries. And I started, I get to the thing, he's checking him out, I pull out the paper bag, I start bagging it myself, and he grabs my hand and he stops me and he said, you've done enough, why don't you just sit back and relax? And I
Oh,
felt as if that was a message from the
it
divine,
was.
right? I'm gonna cry
Yeah,
just thinking
I
about.
know. And I see rainbow light on your screen right now. I don't know if you see it.
Shit. Oh my God, I can't see it yet. But
There's
but
like
yeah,
a
it's like
there's a whole
I
like
can
thing
a
of
whole
rainbow
thing.
light on there.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm feeling the energy. I can't quite see it yet, but I just feel it just makes me want to cry, right? When you think about the grace, it's such a moment of
So much
grace.
grace. God
And I
loves you so
realized,
much. Yeah.
it was the opposite of it was not punishment. It was a
It was
gift.
protection.
I had free time for 2 hours, which I hadn't had probably in weeks. And for protection, it could have, and so all of that, whatever. Yeah, people ask me how the event went. Who cares? Like, I'm so grateful that someone's holding my hand and thank you for bagging my groceries. You don't know. So I broke down, I cried at him. Thank you for bagging my groceries.
Because we're such givers, because the more you get in your inner child, children are such givers, if you ever notice. And when you get back closer to your essence, that's what you are too. Like you get like a child again, and you just want to give. And you've got to, you have to make sure you take your nap and you have your food, and you get your bath at night and you brush your teeth. Like, you
Exactly.
got to take care of yourself.
Exactly. So
Oh
that was a
gosh.
really beautiful message. So I love that you have learned that along the way too, that's what you've realized too, when certain things aren't happening. It's like, slow down, girl. You have time.
You have time and you have to push yourself so hard. That's the other thing. I
Yeah.
think we push ourselves really hard when we feel that passion and the purpose come in, we want to really push ourselves hard, but that's not necessarily the answer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. Well, gosh, I could talk to you all day.
I know, like we should talk all
I
day.
well, I do want to talk to you all day, but I think our guests probably are like, wow, this is great. We'll go out on a high note. So people can they can join your community, right? You have an angel broadcast and you have a book coming out at some point
Yeah.
soon. And we don't know when it's going to come out. This
Yeah.
broadcast is going to live on forever. So you guys will, maybe it'll already be published by the time you watch this broadcast, but
Right.
what's it called? What's it called? The book.
The book will be called The Angel Experiment, and it should be getting published. I'm not towards the end of the year, and it's a 21-day experiment in inviting the divine into your life to miraculously heal it. So that should be good, but something that people can that people can have fun with now is the 7-day miracle challenge, which is on my website. That's a free 7-day little finger. And then, yeah, there are a few other ways to participate if you're really juiced up and you feel the call to work more deeply with angels.
And that's CorinGrillo.com, right?
Yeah. Yes.
CorinGrillo.com.
Yep.
And it will be in the show notes. And I'll
Yes.
put a direct link to the 7-day angel challenge. I love that.
Yay. Oh my gosh,
Yay!
Carrie, this has been so fun. Thanks so much for inviting me here.
I
And
know, it's been awesome. I really enjoy this. Wow, it's great. So I really appreciate everybody who tuned in for this broadcast. And I know that everybody's watching it now can see what I see, which is rainbow light like all around Corinne, which she can't necessarily perceive right now. But
I see it coming
there's
in.
there's like a whole rainbow thing happening all around you right now, which is
Hi.
really awesome. The angels are saying, hello, we're here.
We're here.
That's
They're wanting
pretty
to.
cool. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, I know it's so sweet. I mean, who knows? Could be it could be the light, it could be angels. You decide.
Well, you decided if you want to work with angels, then go to Corinne's website. And if you want to work with butterfly medicine, then come to mine and come learn about reinvent yourself. And we'll put the links in there too.
I do both.
And do both. And maybe we'll do an angel butterfly like friggin' routine.
Angel butterfly fire party for everyone.
We'll bring all the allies. And anyway, I think we're going to have a magical thing coming up. So just stay tuned because I know it's going to happen and I'm pretty excited about it. I don't even know what it is yet, but I'm already saying yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So I
right.
always give kisses. Do you want to give some kisses to everybody?
Sure. I mean, should I give you like the kisses that I give to my daughters when I'm traveling? Here's the biggest kiss I could give you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
I love it. And here comes some butterfly kisses from me.
Ah, I felt that one.
Yeah, it was good, right?
That was so good. You're good.
All
kisses.
Right. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in to Soul Nectar Show. And hey, if you really enjoyed this episode, leave some comments below and let us know what shift did you get from listening to us today? What insight, what one thing that was said really touched you or moved you in a new direction? What was the transformation you got from listening? And share it out. Give us a rating on iTunes, help us reach more people, and just share the blessings, right, Corinne?
Absolutely.
Share the blessings.
Share the goodness.
Yay! Okay, we love you. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Soul Nectar Show. Bye, everybody.
Awesome. Bye-bye, everybody.